Well, speaking of reduced waste, the good news is that Singapore is producing less trash. The bad news, we're also recycling less. Latest data from the National Environment Agency shows the nation's recycling rate in 2023 slipped to 52%, taking Singapore even further away from its target of 70% by 2030. Aslam Shah reports.
These goodies may look appetizing, but they are uneaten leftovers from an event held at Marina Bay Sands. It's waste that this hotel hopes to reduce in the future. It's using artificial intelligence to first measure factors like the weight and food type to help guide serving sizes in the future. But for now, the food waste is collected in this bin to give them a new lease of life. Through these machines, they are turned into non-potable water or feed for plants and insects.
We have long-term goals that focuses on reducing our environmental impact, increasing waste recycling and circularity. We also have goals on water stewardship, biodiversity, responsible sourcing, and culture and capacity. At the corporate level, we have a commitment on the Science-Based Target Initiative to reduce our emission by 17.5% by 2024. We have already made some progress.
Efforts like these have helped the country increase its waste reduction rate in the past 10 years. Between 2013 to last year, the National Environment Agency says the amount of waste generated by each person in Singapore fell by over 15%. Non-domestic waste measured by per dollar of gross domestic product declined by over 30%. And when it comes to recycling, more households are doing their part. But the overall rate in the past decade fell from 62% in 2013 to 52% last year. Sustainability and the Environment Minister Grace Fu announced the latest figures at opening day of the Clean Enviro Summit.
More households are recycling, with NEA's survey last year showing that our household recycling participation rate increased from 64% in 2021 to 72% in 2023. However, the overall recycling rate, which includes waste from commercial premises such as factories and construction sites, decreased from 57% in 2022 to 52% in 2023, largely due to the change in the mix of waste, with the amount of construction and demolition waste, which is almost completely recycled, dropping significantly last year.
NEA also calls on the public to not just recycle more, but to also recycle right. The agency says collection bins have a 40% contamination rate. One recycling company says we cannot underestimate how food residue can contaminate recycling materials like paper and cardboard.
If we are collecting recyclables from 10 different locations, even if just one location has a very bad contamination, because we are putting it into one single truck. So once that single one contaminated goes in, it contaminates the entire 10 batches. So entirely the whole batch of the truck cannot be used at all.
One expert says education is important in ensuring that people recycle right, and much of the onus remains on the younger generation.
The younger generation will have a longer runway to actually benefit the society through recycling, to reduction of resource usage. And at the same time, the younger generation can also help to educate the older generation, right? Because, look, I think it's very difficult to change the way you live and your lifestyle. But I think there is also still a way to, for the younger generation to affect the mindsets of the older generation and change their behavior.
NEA stresses the urgency to build a culture of reducing waste and recycling right to help combat climate change and keep the country clean and livable.